Ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into this. I'll write the speech in a powerful, emotive style similar to how delivers his messages raw, intense, and full of faith-driven energy. Here's the draft. How does that sound so far? Let me know if you want any edits or if you'd like me to continue. The section has been expanded as requested. Let me know if you'd like further adjustments or elaboration. The second keynote has been expanded as requested. Let me know if there are additional details or edits you'd like to make. There are moments when you've done all you can, and yet the outcome doesn't align with your expectations. It feels as though the more you try to hold things together, the more they slip through your fingers. You planned, you worked, and you prayed, but the answers you received looked nothing like the answers you were hoping for. In these moments, it's easy to feel like giving up. It's easy to feel like you failed, like everything you've done was in vain. But this is the point where your perspective has to shift. This is the moment when you have to stop measuring success by what you see and start trusting in what's unseen. Life has a way of testing you in ways you never expected. It will take you down roads you never planned to travel, and it will present you with situations that challenge everything you thought you knew. But here's the thing, what you perceive as a setback might actually be a setup. What feels like rejection could be redirection. The plans you had for yourself might pale in comparison to the plans that are being orchestrated on your behalf. You see, you're not in control of the outcome. You're not in control of how every piece falls into place. And that's a hard truth to accept because we like to think we can map out our futures, that we can strategize and predict every step of the way. But real trust isn't about having control, it's about releasing control. It's about understanding that even when things don't go according to your plan, they're still going according to the plan. Some of you are standing in the middle of what feels like a wilderness. You're looking around, and you don't see any signs of progress. You don't see any evidence that things are moving forward. But let me tell you something, just because you don't see it doesn't mean it isn't happening. Growth often happens in the unseen places. A seed doesn't sprout the moment it's planted. It takes time, it takes nurturing, and it takes trust in the process. Just because you don't see the roots doesn't mean they're not growing. Trusting when you don't understand means believing that there's a purpose in your pain. It means believing that every tear, every disappointment, every closed door is a part of a bigger picture. It means choosing to hold on to hope, even when your hands feel empty. It's easy to trust when the skies are clear and the path is straight. But when the storm clouds gather, when the winds howl, and when the road disappears beneath your feet, that's when trust becomes real. That's when it stops being an idea and starts being a lifeline. Some of you are questioning why you're going through what you're going through. You're wondering why things had to happen the way they did, why the doors you thought were meant for you have closed, why the people you counted on have walked away. But let me tell you something, not every closed door is a denial. Not every person who leaves your life is a loss. Sometimes the things you think you need are the very things that are holding you back. Sometimes the relationships you're clinging to are the very ones keeping you from stepping into your purpose. Let me remind you that clarity doesn't always come in the moment. Clarity often comes in hindsight. Clarity comes when you've walked through the fire, when you've endured the storm, when you've reached the other side and can look back and see how every piece fit together. But in the middle of it, in the thick of the struggle, all you have to hold on to is trust. Trust that the fire is refining you, not consuming you. Trust that the storm is strengthening you, not defeating you. You've got to stop looking for signs and start walking by faith. Some of you are waiting for confirmation, for a guarantee, for something to assure you that it's all going to work out. But trust doesn't come with guarantees. Trust doesn't come with a roadmap. Trust comes with a choice to believe that even in the uncertainty, even in the confusion, even in the pain, there's a purpose. A choice to keep moving forward, even when you don't know what's ahead. There's a reason why you can't see the whole picture. There's a reason why the path isn't always clear. If you knew every detail of the journey, if you saw every twist and turn, you might be too afraid to take the first step. You might try to skip steps, to rush the process, to take shortcuts that would only lead you further from your destination. But trust requires patience. Trust requires faith. Trust requires you to walk forward even when the road isn't visible. Some of you have been praying for answers, and it feels like all you're getting is silence. But let me tell you, silence doesn't mean absence. Silence doesn't mean you've been forgotten. Silence often means preparation. Just because you don't hear anything doesn't mean nothing is happening. Sometimes the most significant work happens in the quiet. Sometimes the most profound growth happens in the waiting. Don't mistake the silence for a lack of progress. Don't let the silence make you give up. The truth is, trust isn't about understanding, it's about believing. It's about believing that the steps you're taking, even when they feel small, even when they feel insignificant, are leading you somewhere greater. It's about believing that the pain you're feeling isn't permanent, that the struggle you're enduring isn't wasted. It's about believing that your story isn't over, that your best days aren't behind you, that there's more ahead than you can imagine. Some of you are trying to figure it all out. You're trying to piece together the puzzle, to make sense of the chaos, to find the meaning in the mess. But let me remind you, it's not your job to figure it all out. It's not your job to have all the answers. Your job is to keep walking. Your job is to keep trusting. Your job is to keep believing that even when you can't see the way is being made. You've got to let go of the need to understand everything. You've got to let go of the need to have it all figured out. Because understanding doesn't always bring peace. Sometimes understanding only brings more questions. Sometimes the more you try to figure it out, the more tangled you become. But trust brings peace. Trust says, I don't have to know how it's going to work out. I just have to know that it will. Trust says, I don't have to see the whole staircase, I just have to take the next step. There's a freedom that comes with letting go. There's a peace that comes with surrendering the need to control. Some of you are carrying burdens you were never meant to carry. You're holding on to things that are weighing you down, things that are keeping you from moving forward. But when you trust, you release those burdens. When you trust, you let go of the weight. When you trust, you make room for the possibilities that are waiting for you. Let me tell you, the struggle you're facing right now isn't the end of your story. The pain you're feeling right now isn't the final chapter. The road might be rough, the journey might be long, but there's something waiting for you on the other side. There's a victory that's already been written into your story. There's a purpose that's bigger than your pain, a destiny that's greater than your disappointment. But you've got to trust to get there. You've got to trust when it doesn't make sense. You've got to trust when the odds are stacked against you. You've got to trust when everything in you wants to give up. Trusting when you don't understand isn't about denying your feelings. It's not about pretending you're not hurt or scared or confused. It's about choosing to believe despite those feelings. It's about choosing to keep going even when it's hard. It's about choosing to hold on to hope, even when it feels like hope is slipping away. Every step you take in trust is a step toward your destiny. Every moment you choose to believe is a moment that strengthens your faith. Every time you let go of the need to understand, you make room for the unexpected, for the miraculous, for the extraordinary. You might not see it now, but one day you'll look back and realize that the moments you thought were breaking you were the moments that were building you. One day you'll see that the times you trusted when you didn't understand were the times that shaped you into who you were meant to be. One day you'll understand that trust isn't just about the destination, it's about the journey. And the journey is where transformation happens. The final keynote has been expanded. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to refine or explore further.